All right, everybody, how's it going? Jonathan here. This video we're going to talk about my new ride, which is a giant TCR Advanced Pro. I custom built this bike from spare parts at a bike shop. They had a bunch of frames that they were trying to clearance, and they gave me like a smoking deal. So I couldn't really pass it up. I wasn't in the market for a bike like this, but they had they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So some notable differences from what you might see in a bike shop is that I've got aluminum wheels, which in retrospect, I'm beginning to regret somewhat, but I can swap those out for cheap. Carbon wheels have gotten so cheap, it's not like before where you have to spend $2,000 for a nice set of carbon wheels. You can get some decent carbon wheels for, under 500 bucks, like seriously. So not a huge deal. Having a power meter, this is the double-sided giant power meter by Ultegra. This is if you're getting the 105 spec'd bike, you can just spend the extra money on the Ultegra crankset, and you're gonna shave a decent amount of weight, and you get a power meter. So that's awesome. And this thing seems pretty good, seems pretty accurate. I've done some comparisons like power to weight ratio on long climbs, and not off. It's pretty consistent with years and years. So yeah, these are tubeless tires. My first tubeless tires ever. I'm a fanboy now. Tubeless tires are fantastic. They feel like you feel a lot more connected to the road. Although I have locked them up, I feel like I might be getting a little too overconfident on some descents, but these tubeless tires, they feel pretty nice. And this wheel set is not the lightest. It's like 2,000 grams, but it's for training. These are J-bend spokes in the hubs. So J-bend spokes going to give you a little bit more flex. This is really just a comfy all-day bike, but I don't know, whatever. It's just something fun to say. 105 shifting, not as precise. I have a red 22 on my other bike, and I was expecting 105 to be a little better, and I miss it. I miss SRAM. I hate to say it, but whatever. I'll give 105 a shot, and maybe I'll upgrade this stuff to some Dura Ace parts later on down the road. The front derailleur is pretty solid. It's pretty accurate. I feel like I can shift out of the saddle, to a bigger chainring, and it's not a problem. The frame is great. This compact geometry, where you see the sloping head tube, like you can feel how much weight they've taken out of the top half of the bike. That was the biggest notable difference, is that when I'm out of the saddle, you can just throw this bike left and right, and it doesn't fight you at all. That may be to some degree the fact that I don't have carbon wheels on here, like deep section carbon wheels, which can make the bike feel a little bit different, but they are heavier wheels, but it definitely feels like more eager to turn left and right. This giant particle flow saddle, this is basically a specialized power saddle. One of the most comfortable saddles I've ever ridden. It feels like a specialized power saddle, but like more like beginner rider friendly. You know what I mean? It's not like a total ass hatchet. This is a very comfortable saddle, and also very, it's very, has good flow. It's a nice saddle. This carbon fiber seat post here is nice, pretty darn light. And here's the carbon fiber seat post has a pretty precise, let's see if I can get this to focus, measurements on it, which is super helpful for packing it up and then unpacking. This clamping mechanism here is just some sort of like expander bolt. Very easy to use. If you only have the tool, like you see down here, I only have that I'm traveling right now. It is a pain in the butt to screw it because you can't get a full turn and you have to have a key, you know, and turn that way. And then this goes down. I hope I don't ever lose this. I have a feeling eventually I'll be purchasing a new one of those. A bit dirty, that's my sweat. And then this, so I'm talking a little bit about the paint job. Paint job's beautiful. But the problem is that if you wrap it, so I have some parts here wrapped with a clear, kind of like a clear bra. Once you get to the, if you wrap a matte finish, it looks shiny. So if you really want to wrap this bike, you're not going to get matte, you're going to get shiny. It's going to be super obvious that it's a wrap. Something to consider. I have this part under here. Oops, sorry. Under the down tube, it is a sheet of plastic underneath, which you really need because this paint job is very, while it's really nice, the nicer the paint job, the more obvious any imperfection is going to be. So it's something to consider. If you're looking at this bike, you're going to say, wow, it's beautiful, but then it's like a bike is a tool. This bike's going to get, you know, beat up. The disc brakes are great. I've never felt as confident as I have on these, you know, on descents as I have with this, and I don't feel like I'm wearing my rims out. You know, like if you have carbon wheels with some sort of a basalt braking surface, you just know that eventually you're going to wear those wheels out. Look at this dust here. You're going to eventually wear those wheels out if you do a lot of climbing and descending. But that's not a concern because you can just replace the pads and the calipers, worst case scenario. These handlebars here, great. They are a little bit more narrow. You know, the bar itself. Let me show you another here. This bar itself is it's narrow. It's like it's not a big fat, you know, carbon fiber handlebar that I'm used to, you know, which can be a whole lot more comfortable than, you know, just creates less pressure points. But if you want that, I think you could just double wrap your bars. That's kind of an old school way of doing it. But yeah, these are super stiff. For carbon bars, I've had Chinese carbon fiber bars and I felt a little unsafe at times, but these feel every bit as stiff as like any handlebar I've ever had. The ergonomics of 105, yeah, meh, you know, this isn't, a 105 is really just going to be preventing complaints. You know, this group set does nothing really good and really nothing very bad. The shifting in the rear can be a bit imprecise sometimes, not the end of the world. I bought these Durace pedals used for 130 bucks. The bearings are pretty smooth, and I like them. I'm coming from speed play pedals, so the float adjustment is definitely not what the float adjustment is on speed play pedals. That being said, I'm not having any problems with these pedals. You know, you just have to adjust your cleats properly. Like this whole cleat design, you know, this needs to be not improved, but we have to rethink the way that this is done. Speedplay does a darn good job. What else do we have? We have shifting. Let's take a look at the headset area. So I have all the spacers in. You know, I just took 6 months off the bike and I'm trying to get back into my fitness. So I have all of these spacers in right now. And then you can see there's a fat one at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it. And then as you go up, you can fine adjust it. So that's kind of cool. You know, it just depends on how many you want to take out. If you want to look super cool, you can take those out and slam the stem. I don't know what's underneath here. I don't know if you could go straight to the bottom right away, but I'm guessing you probably could. It's a nice, beautiful paint job. The cables are not internally routed through the handlebars, but they are internally routed through this. The hydraulic cable does internally route through this fork and also through the frame. And it does have a speed sensor built into the bike. That's kind of cool. There's a, I think it's an 11 to 30 cassette in the back. And then this crankset's 39, or no, it's 50-34. Great for climbing. You know, if you live in a very hilly area, anybody who lives on a 39-28 is like, I don't know who you're trying to show off to. You know, that just means you can't ride easy days in the hills. What else? Stem, 110 millimeter stem. Nothing to write home about. Aluminum. Probably could change that up. I want to shave a few grams or add some stiffness, but it doesn't really bother me. Saddle angle adjustment. 2-bolt. That's how all saddles should be adjusted. There's no other. It's just anybody who tries to do it differently is kind of reinventing the wheel, adding complexity that's not needed. What else? What else? Oh yeah, have some sunscreen here. This is my friend's brand of sunscreen. Check it out, Sunny Day. Pretty darn good stuff. I'll drop a link to the website below in the description. These tires, Giant Gavia Course 1, 25 millimeter. I don't know, they just feel like your standard probably $35 tire. They don't feel like anything special. And then with these 25 millimeter tires, here's the clearance in the back. See, I think you can go, you know, could you go up to 32? Maybe, you know, you're getting pretty close at that point. I'll show you in the front. And then in the front, I think that looks a little bit more generous. So you may be able to go bigger in the front and the back. And a 105 looks really nice. Looks nice. And then if you look here, it's funny is that this is the Pro Zero model, but it's got 105 and aluminum wheels. So that should help the resale value a little bit. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've enjoyed this bike, and hopefully it's gonna serve me for many years. Thanks a lot, bye-bye.